Hello everyone, it's Sandra and welcome to today's video. We're talking favorites today. I wanted to let you know what I've been loving. Hi. Do you want to say hello? It's been a while since you've said hello. So today we're talking all about my favorite beauty products from the last couple of months. I haven't done a favorites video in a bit, and usually that means that I've just been consistent with the same old stuff and I didn't want to just bore you to tears with the same old. So there are a few new things this time around worthy of a mention. I've been focusing on skincare and having a nice, healthy skin. And I've really been happy with my under eye skincare routine, my under eye situation. I was becoming very self-conscious about my under eye area, but for the last 6 months that I've been doing this particular routine, I've just noticed an improvement and I am content with the way my under eye situation is. So I think that's a good sign. The first thing I wanted to mention is the Bioeffect EGF Eye Serum. This has been a favorite of mine for years and it's the best, honestly. It just helps firm and tighten the skin in a very subtle way, but I do notice it. I've been using this for I think 3 or 4 years now, and when I stopped using this, because this is painfully expensive, so I ran out. You don't get a lot of product, you kind of go through it fast. So I ran out and then I stopped using it for about close to a year, and I noticed a difference. So I repurchased it. It's back in my life and I really, really love it, especially to help tighten my upper eyelid skin. It's fantastic. I only use this in the evening. It has a little rollerball applicator. I apply this. I start by, rolling it on my upper eyelids, and then I just use my fingers to spread it around. But I really, really love this. And then for my evening eye cream, this is another thing that pains me because it's very expensive, but it is truly one of the most beautiful eye creams that I've ever used. It's the Chantecaille Bio Lifting Eye Cream. This contains, again, peptides to help firm and tighten the skin. It also has very slight pearlescence to it. So if I do wear it in the morning, it does look really beautiful under makeup. But in the summertime, I don't really tend to use an eye cream. I have something else that I use that I'll show you in a minute. I mainly save this for an evening eye cream, but in the winter and in the fall, whenever the weather was cold, I was using this in the evening and in the morning. It's been about close to 6 months since I've been using this, and I'm about halfway through. So although this is a very pricey eye cream, a jar will last me the whole year. And this is something that I would only repurchase on sale. It's a nice to have, not a must have, but I have actually noticed a really positive result, especially by pairing it with the EGF Eye Serum. But if I had to choose one between these two to splurge on, it would be the EGF Eye Serum. The Caudalie Resveratrol Lift Cream is similar to the Chantecaille. It's maybe a hint lighter weight. The Chantecaille feels a bit more nourishing, but it's still not greasy. It's still a very lightweight texture, which I like. I don't like heavy, thick, greasy eye creams. And in the morning, I've been doing this combination, which I'm pretty sure I've talked about before. I know I've talked about it on Instagram numerous times, but I've been doing the Clarins Total Eye Contour Gel. Absolutely love this. I've gone through so many tubes of this. I stick it in the fridge for about 10 minutes to get it to, oops, I dropped it, to get it to be really cooling. A very lightweight hydrating gel with caffeine, so it helps smooth and depuff, and it just feels really nice. So I apply it under my eyes and then I seal it in with the Dieux reusable silicone little eye masks. These are reusable. I just wash them with a little bit of facial cleanser in lukewarm water after I'm done with it, and I lay them out to dry. You can use these, you don't need to buy the Clarins eye gel. You can use these with any eye cream that you have on hand. What I really like about it is that because the silicone kind of helps force your skin to absorb everything that you have underneath, I find that it really plumps the skin, and it's a temporary effect, but it does last a considerable amount of time throughout the day. It just softens my fine lines. My little expression lines disappear. The next skincare product I wanted to talk to you about is the Innbeauty Project Extreme Cream. This is something new that I bought to try when the Sephora VIB sale was happening, and I've been using this every single night since I bought it, and I really, really, really like this. This is a fantastic moisturizer. It's a bit too glowy for me to use in the daytime. This is definitely more of a nighttime moisturizer for my skin type. But if you have drier skin and if you really love a dewy skin look, this would be beautiful under makeup as well. It's lightweight, but really, really silky, and it sinks into the skin quickly. Leaves, you know, it leaves a dewy finish. It's not greasy, it's not heavy, but it definitely, it has some oomph to it. It has a really nice amount of moisture. For me, this is a perfect texture for an evening moisturizer. The price point is really nice. It has really good ingredients. It's supposed to be firming and lifting. I also apply this on my neck, and it hasn't irritated my neck or anything. A lot of the times, moisturizers with peptides tend to irritate my neck for some reason, but this hasn't irritated my neck, which is a good thing. Doesn't smell like anything. A really beautiful texture. The price point is great. It's under $50. You can also get refills for it. The packaging is kind of clunky. That's my only negative about it. It's heavy, it's clunky. It doesn't need to be this big. It's a really, really nice moisturizer. So if you're in the market for something new, I think this would be worth checking out. I've been really happy with my purchase. When it comes to makeup, like I mentioned before, I've mostly been just shopping my stash, enjoying what I have, getting reacquainted with some old faves that are worth a mention again. The Haus Labs concealer. I use this every single day under my eyes. It is the best under eye concealer I've ever used. I love this so much. I use this in shade 21, and I especially love blending it out with the BK Beauty and Angie Hot and Flashy A506 brush. These two together are a match made in heaven. And then for blemishes, because I've had a really stressful couple of months, plus acne prone skin equals disaster, and the Laura Mercier Secret Camouflage Concealer with this BK Beauty 210 brush. These have been so great. A go-to combination for me to help camouflage those pesky hormonal breakouts that are like mountains under the skin. They're very, very painful. And the reason why this concealer is my top favorite for concealing those cystic, bumpy breakouts is because it has a waxier texture. It has a waxier texture and full coverage, and I find that this has the best longevity. The coverage really sticks to the mountain and it lasts all day. If I have just regular pimples, just small little whiteheads that I'm trying to conceal, I like the I don't think I have it here. I think it's dirty. I like the smaller brush, the Refer 23 pencil brush. It's a really, really tiny pencil brush. That's what I like to use on those. But if I'm getting a cystic breakout, I need a brush with a larger surface area. This BK Beauty 210 is really, really great for that. It's a synthetic brush, and it just has a nice domed head. There is one new blush that I've been really, really enjoying, and it's by the brand Mob Beauty. This is their cream blush in the shade M72. This is the color right. They sent over this beautiful little face palette. You can buy everything individually. It does come in really nice recyclable cardboard packaging, but if you want to build your own palette, they sell a bunch of different configurations of palettes, and everything is interchangeable, which is really cool. It's a brand that was started by the chemist that was behind MAC Cosmetics' original iconic formulas, and they actually just relaunched. They recreated the original MAC Spice lip pencil, and they just launched it. I think they called it 1990, which I'm dying to try it, by the way, but I haven't ordered it yet, but it's on my list. It's cool. I like what they're doing. The colors, the textures are great. Everything that I have in this palette is cream. So they sent over a cream foundation, a highlighter, 2 cream shadows, and a cream blush. And for me so far, the cream blush has been outstanding, especially if you have combination oily skin, because this has just like a satin skin-like finish. It's not dewy and it lasts really, really well on the skin. This is actually the blush that I'm wearing today. Let me compare it to Merit Fox. Merit Fox is not as long wearing, a bit more dewy, and a bit more terracotta, whereas the Mob Beauty M72 is a bit rosier, I'd say. So we have Mob Beauty at the top, Merit at the bottom. If you don't like the dewiness and the sheerness of Merit blushes, you find that you need something a bit more long wearing, the Mob Beauty Cream Clay blush, I think that's the formula name. The Cream Clay blush in shade M72 is a really nice option. If I want to kick things up a notch, I've been loving my Surratt blushes. You buy these separately, and then again, Surratt has a bunch of different palettes that you can get, and you can customize your own palettes with eyeshadows, blushes, whatever you want. This is just I think this is their smallest palette component, and this fits 2 blushes or 4 eyeshadows, or you can do 1 blush and 2 eyeshadows. Really nice for travel. But oops, the only annoying thing is that there are no magnets. You just kind of pop it in, so it's kind of annoying because they fall out. But I have a beautiful cool tone pink, which is called Barbe a Papa. This has such a beautiful sheen. It's like a Barbie pink. And then I have the shade Cherubique, which is a peachier shade. And today I'm actually just wearing a little bit of Cherubique on top to set the Mop Beauty blush and to give me a little bit of a sheen. Here they are. It's a soft, buildable, sheer blush formula. So this is not the blush formula for you if you love intense pigment. This is just a soft, sheer veil of color with a sheen running through it. You can see how beautiful the sheen is, especially in that Barbe Papa shade. These 2 blush colors actually look amazing layered together as well. This is such a great little blush palette to travel with, because between the 2 I feel like I have all my bases covered. I can use them separate, I can use them together. The sheen is very refined. It's not chunky shimmer, and I don't find it to emphasize texture on my cheeks at all. It doesn't really emphasize my pores or my acne scars or anything, which is a good thing. So that's that for cheeks. And for lips, I don't really have a standout favorite. I've been trying to rotate through all of my lip products because, as you know, I'm on a mission to make my way through some lip products this year. So I'm trying to not buy as many new lip products and just kind of enjoy what I have. So it's been really fun to shop my stash. Today, I went back to a really old school favorite combo of mine that I still love, the Makeup Forever 3C Aqua Lip Liner and the Clarins Lip Oil in the shade Pitaya. This used to be called Candy back in the day, so if you know, you know. If you've been with me since the Clarins Candy days, then you're an OG. So this has been today's lip combination. The next thing I want to talk about is fragrance. I love this time of year for fragrance. In between seasons is always my favorite time because that's when the mood changes. I would like to start with the fragrance that I'm wearing today, which is not so much a spring summer fragrance. This is something that I bought at the beginning of the year because I wanted something to wear year round, and I loved it when the weather was cold, and I'm still loving it now that the weather is warming up. And it's Remarkable People by Etat Libre d'Orange. Probably butchered the name of the brand, but this is really interesting. It's spicy, it's sweet, it's sparkling. It has a really beautiful grapefruit and champagne opening, and then the middle notes are spicy. Let me read you the notes here because I don't want to miss anything here. We've got cardamom, jasmine, curry, black pepper, labdanum, and then the base note is sandalwood and lauranox. So you have to love cardamom and jasmine because they dance really beautifully in the middle, and the cardamom is quite prominent. I love cardamom. And the sandalwood is very soft, very subtle, and like I said, it has that really beautiful sparkling grapefruit champagne opening. It's mostly a daytime fragrance for me. It's very subtle, it's very soft. You're not going to fill up the room with this fragrance. This sits closer to the skin. I'd say it's a really work appropriate fragrance as well. It's also really fun to layer. Today I'm layering it with Le Labo Gaiac 10 to kind of add a bit more of that woodsiness to it, and it's beautiful. Also layers nicely with anything sandalwood. I've also been wearing Maison Margiela Bubble Bath a lot. This is so nice. It's very clean. If you like the smell of fresh laundry, you know when you're taking a walk by somebody's house and I don't know, they're doing laundry and you can smell it in the air, that there's an element of that in this. There's laundry detergent, soapy water, and a hint of coconut. It's really beautiful. It's a little bit floral, but it's very clean and soapy. So clean, soapy, soft coconut vibe. That is Maison Margiela Bubble Bath. Again, it's a very soft fragrance. You're not going to offend anybody in the room. Work appropriate, sits close to the skin. And I love to smell clean and fresh, especially in the summertime. If the weather is very hot, it's humid, it gets a bit cloying, this is a nice fragrance for that because it just makes you feel really fresh and clean. Another fresh and clean fragrance that I love to wear this time of year is Byredo Blanche. This has a similar vibe to the Maison Margiela Bubble Bath, but it is a little bit more floral, but it still has that clean freshness. It's very airy. So the notes here are aldehydes, rose, pink pepper. The middle notes are peony, violet, and African orange flower. I find it quite violet forward, which I like. And the base notes are musk, sandalwood, and woodsy notes. It's definitely musky, so if you don't like musk, this might not be for you. It's a clean, airy, musky floral. It pairs so beautifully with an all white, all cream, beige outfit. Obviously the name is Blanche. The inspiration for this fragrance is the color white. So sometimes I like to lean into that and be quite literal with it and wear this whenever I'm wearing white, like a crisp white cotton shirt with this fragrance. Match made in heaven. This is more of a date night fragrance. Spring leading into summer, maybe even leaning into early fall. There needs to be a breeze in the air. I wouldn't wear this on a hot and humid day because I find this fragrance to be quite intense, but in a really good way. This is Naxos by Xerjoff. If I had to describe this fragrance in 2 words, it would be Mediterranean glamour. This smells like a date night in the most bougie, luxurious Mediterranean resort. It's the kind of fragrance that transports me. It takes me away when I smell this. The opening is bergamot. There's a little bit of, a little bit of lemon, a little bit of bergamot, but it doesn't last long. This is not, I wouldn't really call this a citrus fragrance. The middle is jasmine, cinnamon, and honey. And I find the jasmine to be quite prominent. I personally love jasmine, but I know it can be quite intense. So if you're not a jasmine lover, then I don't think you would like this. It's very sweet and very sexy. And then the base notes are tobacco, vanilla, and tonka bean. So it's quite sweet. There is like a little bit of a tobacco vanille by Tom Ford vibe to it, but it's not as sweet and cloying. I personally can't wear Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford. It gets really, really overwhelmingly sweet and cloying on my skin. This isn't like that. I find that maybe the citrus notes in the beginning kind of offset some of that sickly sweetness. There's also a little bit of lavender in this as well. It's just really interesting. I would say if you like honey, tobacco, and jasmine, give this fragrance a sniff. It's worth sampling. I find this really intense and long wearing. I do 2 sprays and I'm good. I smell amazing all night. Oh, it's really sexy. It's sexy, it's delicious. Some websites refer to it as a citrus gourmand. It's not a literal gourmand. It doesn't smell like baked goods or there's no amber in it or anything. But yeah, there is that honey, cinnamon, vanilla, but then you also have tobacco, you have a little lavender, you have a little jasmine. So I just can't get enough of this fragrance. It's, yeah, Mediterranean glamour in a bottle. I did want to shout out some books that I've been reading, some books that I finished lately, because it's been a while since I've done a book update. I really fell off the wagon, but I've been trying to get back into reading this year and stop watching TV before bed and read for an hour and just relax that way. So I've been doing pretty well. And yeah, I wanted to shout out some of the books that I finished this year that stood out to me. And let me bust out my notes. The first was Lessons in Chemistry, a very famous book. I know that there's a TV show, a limited series TV show on Apple TV. And when I saw that they're making a TV show, I made a mental note to read the book first. And there was a huge line at the library for this book. I was like number 500 in line at one point, and I just gave up and I ended up buying it on my Kindle because I didn't want to wait that long. I still haven't watched the TV show, but I really enjoyed the book. It was a lot sadder than I thought it would be. It was a lot darker and sadder. I loved the journey it took me on, even though it wasn't what I expected. I read The House at Riverton. This is actually a book that my mother-in-law recommended. We have a lot of similar reading favorites, and this is historical fiction with a hint, just like a little dash of murder mystery. I really enjoyed it. I think if you like the book, The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, you will really enjoy this book as well. Late 1800s, it's kind of like Downton Abbey, Gilded Age meets a dash of murder mystery. So I really enjoyed that book. Another book that I enjoyed was the book called Book Lovers. This was a beautiful romantic comedy. I'm not usually into romance novels, but this I really liked, and I'm now on the wait list for more books by this author because I really enjoyed her writing style. And yeah, it was a romantic comedy. It was very funny. It was the right mix of comedy. There were some serious elements as well, and then there's this beautiful love story, and I really liked the protagonist. It was very funny, not too cheesy, and had a lot of really great witty humor in it, so I enjoyed that book. And then the last book that I read most recently that I really enjoyed is Ghosts. Ghosts is by Dolly Alderton, and I also really enjoyed her first book, which was a memoir called Everything I Know About Love or something like that. If you liked her memoir, you will really like this. They share some common themes, but Ghosts is fiction. But I think having read her memoir, I can see where she drew inspiration for some of the stories in Ghosts, because it's a beautiful story about female friendship. It's about the resilience of female friendship, about dating in your 30s. It's really funny. There's also a really complex mother-daughter relationship dynamic in there. I really enjoyed it. So I thought I would shout it out. And that's about it. Right now I'm reading a book called Trust. I'm literally 4 pages in, so I haven't made up my mind yet, but that's what I'm currently reading. As always, you can follow me on Goodreads if you want to know what I'm reading. I'll put my Goodreads profile in the description box below. I'm just taking it easy this year though. I don't want to be too overzealous with my reading goal. So my reading goal this year is just to read a book a month, 12 books. That's my goal for the year. If I surpass that, then that's great, but I wanted to set some more realistic expectations for myself. But yeah, I've really been enjoying dipping my toe back into reading. And I think any of these would be great beach reads, great vacation reads. As always, I want to know what you're reading. So let me know in the comments below if you have any suggestions, any recommendations for me. I'm dying to know. And I think that's a wrap. So thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you're having a beautiful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.